And I want to jump right into this deal with Iran and the focus that we got into today with Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, saying, hey, wait a minute. They talked about genocide against us. You cannot do this deal.
Well,
Doug?
that's right. And this deal...
I'm paraphrasing, by the way,
This deal basically ratifies something the UN hasn't, which is the Iranians' right to enrich uranium. These are not people who are committed to our values. They're not honest. And bottom line, the inspection routine is not intrusive enough to guarantee our safety and security, and we don't even know where all their installations are. So Netanyahu, sadly, is correct.
Pat, what is your greatest concern at this point as we go forward? Because this deal is not inked.
Well, but my greatest concern is what we have done is basically assured they will enrich when they're ready, they will have nuclear weapons, and we have now created a monster when that happens, because we have taken our influence off the table. What I said 2 weeks ago, this mini Munich, this president who's desperate for a deal for anything, can't wait to go over there. He is. We watch what the Chinese are doing, and the United States can't stand up to what they're doing in the South China Seas, everywhere.
Pat, I never thought I'd be this afraid. Who extends himself more for the Iranians than he does to the Republicans.
Good point. Or anybody, or our allies. And let's
that's true.
More to the Iranians and more to radical Islamists than he does to our allies.
That's true.
John, you were quiet. Why?
Well, I mean, I've said this before. I don't trust John Kerry, from my own experience.
You don't trust the Secretary of State?
I do not trust him. I've dealt with him, and I do not trust him.
Is that a political difference that you have with him?
Well, I don't think this agreement is an honest agreement. Tehran decides what sites get inspected. Can you imagine this? You're letting someone decide, well, you can look here, but you can't look here. Well, what are you doing here that you're not telling us about?
So why would you get into a deal like this? Because I don't think that you would call anybody in the administration, silly or not trying. But why would they even agree to this?
Desperate for a deal.
They don't want
desperate for an agreement.
After the disaster in Syria, look, you have the same woman, Wendy Sherman, who negotiated the catastrophe with North Korea, handling the negotiation. What is it in this country? The more incompetent you are, the more you get to repeat it. And this administration is so desperate for any deal that they can get, they will sell us, they will sell the country out no matter what. They don't mean to, but that's what they're doing.
We know that this base called Parchin in Iran is where they're weaponizing nuclear material. And they've not covered in the agreement. No inspections.
They did let the inspectors get into Iraq, which was that reactor that everybody was worried about. Haven't had access to that in years. So that was something that we got.
Right, but that's in the agreement, that they're going to get to look at that, and they're supposed to stop some of the building that's going on there for 6 months.
It's still going to be built.
All right, so I want to get deeper into your point of why the president would be domestically here now. The polling breaks down this way. Comparing January to November of this year, approval on health care has fallen to 37%.
That's his
handling of the threat of terrorism. The key number here is the jump in the disapproval rate of 44%. Yeah. 44% of those say that he's not doing a good job at that. And just 34% of Americans approve of the president's foreign policy. And that kind of gets us back into why he might be eager to make a deal.
That's what I was going to say. This is the key statistic. With only a third approving of his rating on foreign policy and a narrow majority approving of his rating on terrorism, Harris, he's desperate for a deal. Bottom line, this week, we saw with Biden in Asia, he was unable to persuade the Chinese to stand down in the East China Sea, unable to get Japan and Korea working together. Bottom line, the Obama administration needs a deal. That's why they're pushing.
You know what? That's an interesting point.
Let me just say something. What they want is it's all about appearance. It's not about substance or reality. Those numbers drive this president. It drove him when he talked about...
You think he looks at those numbers?
Of course. That's all they do. That's all they do.
Now, you're a former pollster, so you're kind of the inside on this.
But I've never seen anything like the way they exercise the ability. If we're in trouble, we make up something. We go out and we talk about the income inequality, which I think is a real issue, is an excuse for your program. The foreign policy numbers, not only that, but remember, Pew also reports that there are record numbers of Americans saying that we have lost influence in the world and that we are less powerful than we've been. The depth on foreign policy disaster that the American people perceive of this president is staggering.
But by the way, it's not just Obama who reads these polls. Foreign governments read the polls. And Congress reads these polls. And once they view the president as weak, In Beijing, they say we're going to put up this no-fly zone and see what Obama's going to do about it.
And that was the point I was going to say, because we threw a B-52.
Two of them.
Yeah.
Threw right through.
Right through that zone that China and Japan are disputing.
Right now,
and it's like it never happened.
Right.
I got to let you guys go, but I want to talk more. But here's the thing. You can continue the